Welcome back to Ozarks Prepared, where we're going to teach you not only how to prepare, but how to survive and to thrive.
If that's something you're interested in, think about subscribing to the channel.
So today we're going to be addressing a subscriber question, and he wants to know, how do you fortify your house for defense? Let's get to it. I thank my daughter, who's back from Hogwarts Academy, for helping me out with that. She's very interested in prepping, very interested in survival, so of course I'm glad to teach her because I think it's important. So thank her for that. Now the issue of home defense is a hot topic, and really it needs to be. And really there's three layers and even more of defense. You've got personal defense and security, you've got your home defense and security, and you've got your compound or your land defense and security. And in fact, I'll probably make a series of this, but for this purpose in this video, we're just going to be talking about home defense. So let's go ahead and start with the obvious. And that is something I see a lot of, and that is vacation. Most people today, and with social media, it makes it easier. People know exactly what we're doing and where and when we're doing it. So while you might be posting videos and pictures of your vacation while you're on it, what a lot of people is going to see is a big flashing neon sign that says, "I'm on vacation, my home is vacant, come take what you want." So I really encourage you to be leery of doing that. If you feel the need to share your vacation and share your trip, do it when you get back. So let's address really the first points of entry that people are going to check and your weakest points. So let's start with windows. Now obviously windows are great. They give us a view to the outside world. We get sunlight, we get a breeze on a nice day. But a well-thrown rock or baseball and it just shatters your window. So for regular home defense, it's not the best option. There's a few ways we can combat this. We can get tempered glass or bulletproof glass. And you know, I'm hesitant to say bulletproof. Let's say bullet resistant glass. And this is going to stop a lot of things. Imagine they're throwing rocks, they're throwing baseballs, they can't get in, so they move up to a gun, like I'm going to show you in this video. Wouldn't it be nice to be sitting on the other side knowing you had this much time and this much protection from that? Now obviously that's going to keep the amateurs at bay, and that's going to keep the people who don't have a group and are not very organized at bay. And that's really what we want. We want to keep as much people away from it as possible. And while all of us can't go out and buy tempered glass or buy the bulletproof glass or buy the glaze you can put on there, there are a few other things that we can do. Another way that we can do it is we can get the pre-made plywood to put over it that you've got a brace on the inside, and believe it or not, that's going to hold up to axes, and that's going to hold up to bats, rocks, all kinds of things, but it won't stop bullets. But it will stop a normal home invader from getting in. The next thing we can do is we can actually put up security bars. And you see this in a lot of movies, and it's effective. But what I like is the ones that you turn around and you put on the inside so they can't be taken apart from the outside. So if they were able to get through the window, then they'd have to deal with that the bars you have up there, and that's going to just make your level of safety a little bit easier. Okay, so now that we've addressed windows and how to make them a little bit safer, a little bit tougher, let's address another easy target, and that's obviously your doors. Any doors going to the exterior is going to be one of the first places somebody with bad intentions are going to look. And there's a few things we can do to strengthen doors. Number one is to get the new steel doors. And they can be kind of expensive, but there's a reason why banks use steel doors on vaults, and that's because they are nearly impossible to get in. So if you've got the money and you've got the bankroll, putting steel doors for your exterior doors is a very good idea, and it's going to stop most people in their tracks. For those of us who want to look at a little bit budget friendlier option, one thing I would encourage you to do first off is go to Lowe's and spend a couple $100 on some really high quality door locks. The locks that come with houses now, or their own rental houses, or the cheaper type of locks, which is pretty much 75% of the population, one well placed kicked and it shatters and an intruder's in the door. So spending a couple $100 on these is going to take you from a one kick to several kicks, and they might not even be able to break it down if it's well placed. Another way you can do is do what schools are using now inside, which is a barricade at the bottom of the door in case there's a school shooter. They put that door shut, put the barricade up there, and it's going to keep that intruder out. And I'll show you a picture of that right here. But that you have if you have the regular door, you spend some money on some of those high dollar door locks, and you have this barricade at the bottom, that's going to keep 90% of all intruders out. So now that we've got those basics, the doors and windows covered, and really if you address those things, most would-be intruders are just going to move on. They don't want the hassle and they don't want the exposure, and they're going to go off to an easier target. But let's talk about the next couple of levels, just in case you do have a persistent intruder or they really want to get in for whatever motivation we don't know. And the next level is we need to start thinking about some bulletproofing. So we talked about the steel doors and we talked about the windows. You know, bricks and some of the new construction, bullets aren't going to go through, but there's a lot of gaps that they can. Plywood, wood, 2x4s. There's a lot of area that a lot of direct bullets just aren't going to hold up. So how you can combat this is just get you some bags, really get you some burlap sacks and get some sand to put in there, and you put well-placed sandbags around these vulnerable places in your house. I mean, sandbags aren't just to keep out floodwaters, they will actually stop bullets. So if you get your doors covered, you got your windows covered, and you got well-placed sandbags, you're doing pretty good about staying in your house and feeling pretty safe about what they're throwing at you. Now, of course, none of these are going to keep out armies, and they're not going to keep out militias, but more than likely it's going to be 1 or 2 intruders that you're going to be going up against, maybe a group of 5 or 6, and this is going to buy you the time, if you don't stop them completely, buy you the time to put in your escape plan and route. Okay, so we got the interior of our house pretty much covered. Let's talk about the next step, which is visual. Visual deterrents are very important. They could stop somebody from even checking your doors or from even checking your windows. And there's a few things we can do with this. Number one, obviously, is to have a dog, or is to even have a beware of the dog sign in a dog house, even if you don't have a dog. One thing can stop a burglar in its tracks, besides the sound of a shotgun, obviously, it's a dog. It's your early warning system. And people don't want to have to worry about, if I do get into the house, what kind of dog do I have to go up against? So having a dog is a very good visual deterrent. Okay, the next visual deterrent is signs. And I'm talking about signs that we've all seen before, and we laugh at it, we giggle at it, we say that's true. But to a burglar, they mean something. Signs like there's nothing in here worth dying for, or pro-Second Amendment, or I shoot first and ask questions second. Signs like this that are put up might make somebody think, okay, do I need this that bad? They've got all these other security measures in place. They've got these signs. I'm being warned. And if you give somebody, and you give an intruder, and especially somebody whose life isn't on the line per se, a reason to leave and go to an easier target, they're going to do that. So just putting up the right signs could get the pretenders out of the way, and then you can worry about on the real threats. Another way is by having or joining or starting neighborhood patrols, area patrols. Nothing can be quite as intimidating as a group or a force of people who have been trained and know what they're doing and know what they're looking for. So like we said, most of the time in an end of the world situation, you're going to be going against 2 to 10 people. Well, how many of these 2 to 10 people are going to want to go and lock horns with a group patrol? So if you've got your whole neighborhood and you've got 10, 15, 20, 30 people in there, people are going to think twice about coming into that area. So really having a group patrol, letting it be known, letting there be signs of it, is going to be a great deterrent. Another visual deterrent is having motion lights around your house. I mean, think about it. A lot of times, you know, they'll go off with squirrels and possums, and if they're right by their window, they tick you off. I know they do me. But how many people who are breaking the law or whose life even might be endangered just want to be standing out there in a spotlight? So just having those lights that'll come on at different intervals, if there's something moving, might just change your mind. And then lastly on the visual is having a well-placed security camera system. If you've got cameras around your house at points of entry or at the beginning of your property, people might shy away. But even if they don't shy away, it can give you intel inside about where they're coming from, what points of entry they might try to attack with. This is going to give you a leg up when you're coming up with your plan. So the final piece of security is for when everything else is everything else has failed. So barrage after barrage is coming at you. They are very determined, they are very persistent, and they finally broken through your defenses, and now they're in your house. And this is where close quarter combat is going to come into play. This is where you need to know things like martial arts, you need to know wrestling, you need to know hand-to-hand combat. If you can disarm a person that's in front of you, or you can put a person in front of you into a submissive hold, and you can just gut out their will to live right there, that might just give you the edge. It might be the straw that broke the camel's back and giving you this win and been able to live another day. So I highly recommend for that last line of defense, make sure you are proficient in some kind of martial arts or self-defense. And then obviously the best defense is a great offense. So this is where your stockpile of guns and your stockpile of ammo is going to come into play. You need to have the right things with you, by you, where you can get to, and you need to know how to use them, and you need to have enough ammo to stave off the attacks you're going to have. And obviously it's important to know how to shoot them, but even more than that, you need to practice this time and time again with your family as a whole. Who's got what guns, where are they set up in the house, what points of view do they have, what area are they protecting. So believe me, the last thing you want to worry about in a situation like this is worrying about friendly fire. So make sure you take the time and train everybody not only how to use them, but where they're going to be set up and what they are going to do. So there you go. There are some ways you can take to fortify your home, give yourself a good home defense, whether it's during good times or whether it's during an actual SHTF situation. So just do the visual. First of all, obviously common sense. Don't post that you're going to be vacant, you know. Second, make sure you take care of the windows, the doors, easy entry points that people might address first. Just go outside, look at your house, and put yourself as the burglar and say, okay, where am I going to get into this house at? And start there when fortifying the entrances to your house. Then you want to just take it a step further, and you want to maybe put some sandbags or put some other fire retardant things down so you can take bullets, you can take any kind of attack that might want to put on you. And then you finally want to be able to put up the visual signs that lets people know if they come in, it's going to be a fight for their life, so they might as well go to somebody else who isn't prepared. Guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. If you did get some use out of it, please give us the thumbs up. And I hope I answered your question for you. And please send us more questions. We are always glad to respond to you and help you any way we can. Thanks for your time. And as always, remember, prepare, survive, and thrive.